Hello, Jim Howard here in Fort Worth, Texas. Today's date, oh, I don't have to look at that monitor, I can look down here. It's March 25th of 2023. In a few hours, I will be a year older. I will be 82 years old. Uh, Hillary, one of our daughters, is going to bring over some, she already gave me my present. Uh, she's going to bring food over for us tomorrow and probably something else. Uh, had a couple comments about the audio not being good. I'm using the uh, Dell computer, the new one. Well, not new. I shouldn't have to. I'm just you. You'll know it's the refurbished one. And so I uh, hooked up just a while ago the sound. I have a bunch of Sound Blaster cards. Uh, I hooked up the Sound Blaster X4, and then I plugged in my headset to it, and so you should be hearing this microphone. I am not sure right at this point why I have the tracking for my head. I went in and turned it off, but it not turned off. I'll worry about that later on. Um, so what else do we have going on? Something new that I noticed, and I haven't been. Uh, I was I used eBay, uh, well, quite a bit. I mean, it's nothing compared to what my ex-wife did. She was selling a lot of stuff. She started out selling, can't remember. Then she was into selling VHS tapes of videos, movies and stuff. And then she got it. Then it switched. Then she was selling DVDs and of movies and things. And we still have a shelf load in there of them that she won't let me throw away, but she's not selling them. She's not trying to sell them, and I don't think there's much of a market for them. Remember a while back, uh, eBay, well, there was a lot of stuff that eBay was selling that was kind of questionable. Uh, and then there was I can't remember how long ago it was, but uh, people were selling on eBay, and I forget now I'll exaggerate, but they were selling, for storage, USB uh, plug-ins, and they were saying, it was I forget, let's say a terabyte. I don't think it was a terabyte, but it was something unbelievably, you know, and they were selling them cheap because they didn't exist. People were complaining about that because they were getting them in. And of course, they were marked. I don't know, 5 terabytes or something. Whatever it was ridiculous. And of course, I didn't order, but there were a bunch of people that did. And they were leaving comments on message boards and things like that. And so I think there's always people gaming things on eBay. Um, Back, I guess, back whenever, whenever people were wanting, Galaxy Note, when people had Galaxy Note, Samsung Galaxy Note 5, I I was just blown away by what I heard about it, what I'd seen, YouTube videos and things like that. I couldn't afford a Galaxy Note 5, but I could afford the book. And of course, it's unbelievable. But anyway, I looked through it, and then I put it in one of my big containers there where it's been since then. I just happened the other day, I was waiting for two books that I ordered, uh, and I happened to look over, and it was laying exactly like, hey, here I am. And I had to dig down, had to move a couple, and so I haven't had a chance to even look at that yet. But then I knew I'm not so. I went to YouTube sites, and for the Note 10 Plus, which my daughter gave me last week early for my birthday. Um, and so I dug. I looked. I didn't get around to that. Too much going on. But I ordered two off of eBay, two books, and the first one came a couple of days ago. Now, you know, when I went to order on eBay, the book looked like looked like had a it looked like a cover like this, this one. And I thought, wow, that's a good deal, for the book used. Said it was used. I don't think this thing is used. Okay, I think even you can see. Well, it's upside down. No, it's not. Oh, the camera's up there. I'm trying to show it to the screen. The type, which I'm an old person, I'm always complaining about when I get some product and I can't, the type is really big on this thing. The paper is not high quality paper. There are very few pictures or drawings or whatever, but I don't know if can you tell how bad those are? Uh, no, I can show you how great those are. So there must be uh, companies someplace, individuals who are um, uh, making um, a killing. I'm sure they put out something and say, hey, um, you can make something up that looks like a high quality, book, and cheap. And they probably even tell them, okay, if you don't know anything, or you know very little, make the type very big. You'll fill up the pages and whatever. So anyway, I got this a few couple days ago. Now here's has a much better cover on it, but the same very large type. And I don't think there's any even there's not even a picture or a drawing of anything in here. So it's people they'll do anything to, and there's companies out there that will assist them come up with the idea of, hey, here's what you can do. I'm not sure how they put it. I guess I could do a search for, uh, make make videos or things to pass on to people. That uh, they didn't charge very much for these, and when I bought them, I thought, okay. I don't think either one of them are used. That was one of the things they said used. So that makes you think, oh, you got one of the, you know, ones from a, I don't think it's any bookstores left. I think Amazon wiped them all out. But so, okay, the internet for us using Verizon, I feel like I'm always saying with an H. Uh, let's see here. So I've got both computers going. I ordered in I have several. Well, of course, I think they're old. I have a little strong box or something that I have a whole bunch of, you know, USB devices that have, I think one even had maybe more, had not just Ubuntu, but had three or four different uh, versions of Linux on there. The nice thing about the Linux things that you get is that you can, even when they were available on DVDs, you can boot up. Don't uh, check. I mean, uh, but you can, put it in, and you know, when it boots up, or when the directory comes up or whatever for the software saying Ubuntu, it's going to say, okay, do you want to, uh, you know, run Ubuntu without making any changes to your hard drive or your computer? And you'll be able to see and use Ubuntu. Now, of course, you really wouldn't want to go in there and make changes because it's not going to stick as soon as so, or you can, of course you can, well, when you got to that point, you could, once you were inside there, if you wanted to, you could just say, yeah, go ahead and install it. I usually, exit it and then put the thing in, and then I just said install. I'm not sure there was any difference in doing it that way. But I've got this, and I know I installed a lot of different versions of Linux, and I don't think I ever had a problem. Maybe I did. I never had a problem unless I did when I did the dual boot situations. Something would come up that would mess things up, and it was my fault. Uh, but it would happen. But I I'm not going to do it on this Dell because at $2, at $200, you know, rather than do, I would just rather buy another one if I had room to set them up some way. Um, Now the B link over here, you can you do that. You can install Linux on it, but I've never installed Linux or something on a B link. This is my second one, and my first one is around here someplace in a box sitting on a shelf. Maybe that's the one I should install. I'm not sure. But anyway, I went ahead and ordered it in. It was inexpensive. Now this guy who sold this Linux thing, he you know a little thank you thing. Uh, you might also enjoy Best Ham Radio. Fantastic Hobby. Uh, BestHamRadio.com has the products you need. Astronomy Online, information or whatever. I don't think I've ever mentioned that back in the beginning when I was running the uh, bulletin board system, back when very few people were doing it, uh, there was a real fine in Kansas City, Missouri, astronomy club. I forget the name of it. Uh, I don't know how I can forget the name of it. But they asked if they could put a site on and I did. I agreed to them putting, so you could log in and God, I should be able to remember the name. And then you could go to the astronomy club. And I never asked them for, anything. And they volunteered on their own. They had an astronomy, they had a telescope set up outside of the Kansas City area, and where the no light problems, the whole thing. And I've still never looked through a professional. I mean, when what's the famous one that came through? Uh, I went and bought a inexpensive telescope, and the kids, but uh, that wasn't a great view that time. What's kind of funny is shortly after that, there was one that nobody had talked about that came through that did a fantastic, you know, you could see it. I could see it driving to work or driving home from work or something, or whether I'd look up and everybody could see it coming through for multiple days. But I regretted that those people, said, "Hey Jim," whenever you want, different people said, "Hey Jim, uh, I'll come by and pick you up and take you out, and you can look through their big, thing." I regret that I didn't do that. Now, of course, a lot of you probably live, someplace where you can go, easily. Well, I don't think it'd be in the city because light pollution. But anyway, that astronomy club, they stayed for quite a while, and then they got their own. And if I remember right, they're the ones. I can't remember the name, but whoever is like, hey, if you do a search for astronomy information or whatever, I think that's the uh, I think that's the organization. I guess I could do a search next time I think of the name. I could do a search, and maybe they would say, that they started in Kansas City, Missouri. They might even, if they had a history, they might even say, we were online. So, um, okay, I can't tell how long I've been talking unless I call up OBS. And OBS tells me that, where's the, only 18 minutes, 19 minutes, 60 frames a second, using 3% of my CPU. Uh, so, I thank you very much. I hope this works out okay. My throat has, been giving me problems, and that's why I'm doing this. Sorry. It's almost 11 p.m. and I'm going to going to stop here. So thank you very much for watching.